Welcome back to the Pach-Attack from Twitter at Mark42. If demos harm game sales, and you put in parentheses Jesse Schell's name at DICE, what is the incentive for a flexible pay-per-use cloud service? I'm not sure Jesse Schell's right, and I'm calling out a guy who's like a university professor. I mean, I understand his point, and I'd say if a demo proves to you that the game is good, you're more likely to buy it. And if the demo proves to you the game is a piece of crap, you're less likely to buy it. I wish I could remember the game. I think it was Stuntman, but it might have been Juiced. Anyway, many years ago, before THQ went out of business, they made a big bet. I'm pretty sure, well, anyway, they bought Juiced and they bought Stuntman out of, I think, the Atari or the Acclaim bankruptcy, one of those many bankruptcies that we had in the last 10 years. And one of them, and I think it was Stuntman actually, one of them got 500,000 downloads of the demo on Xbox Live. And they bragged about it. You can look this one up, I don't remember, it was probably 2005 or 6. Anyway, they were gonna put this game out, 500,000 downloads only on Xbox Live. And THQ bragged about it, and they were saying, this is gonna be such a big game. And I think the game sold like 300,000 copies total, maybe 500,000 between both consoles. Complete disaster. And the reason was the demo sucked. So when Jesse Schell says demos harm game sales, yeah, if the game sucks, you don't even want anybody to know anything about it. Just release it quietly and hope people are sucked into it because they like the brand or something. But if your game's great, then word of mouth's gonna help sales. So I think Jesse's right if the game sucks, he's wrong if the game is good. But your question, which I think has nothing whatsoever to do with demos, what is the incentive for a flexible pay-per-use cloud service? I think a pay-per-use cloud service is less about demos than it is about kind of on-demand. And I think the analogy is you can subscribe to HBO and you can pay a certain amount per month, or you can watch movies on demand, and pay $5 whenever you watch a movie, or $2 if you watch an old movie. I think the flexible use cloud, pay-per-use cloud service essentially turns gameplay into a subscription model rather than a purchase model. And the reason I don't think we're going to see that is that I think most games aren't finished by people. I think people try games, and I say most games. There's a group of people who finish every single game they play. Of course they do. But I'd say, half of the people who play games don't get through them. I heard anecdotally that Grand Theft Auto 4, fewer than 25% of the people who played it finished it, and that's pretty hardcore people. If you sold a game pay-per-use, let's say you sold Grand Theft Auto and you said, we're gonna charge you, $1 every time you play GTA, I think the maximum that Take-Two would ever get out of that is maybe 20, 30 bucks, because you play 20 sessions, 30 sessions, and you'd say, okay, I've played enough, I had fun, I'm on to the next thing. They'd rather sell you the game for 60 bucks, and then it's your risk whether you play it for 2 hours or 80 hours. And they'll give you 80 hours of content, so certainly you're not getting cheated for your 60 bucks. But 80 hours of content, if you only play it 6 hours, that's your choice. They don't want to get paid only 10% as much because you chose to play it less time. And there's lots of games like Call of Duty. Again, Activision actually gave me this stat. More than half of the people who buy Call of Duty don't even bother with the single player campaign. They buy it to play multiplayer. So, question, why do you need the disc? Why wouldn't they just sell it as a service and let you play multiplayer? Answer, they want their 60 bucks. So that's how they do it. So I don't think you're gonna see a flexible pay-per-use cloud service. I don't think that demos have anything to do with your question, but I figured I'd answer it anyway. And Jesse Schell is probably a lot smarter than me, so maybe there was a point in his presentation that I didn't quite understand, but I appreciate what he's talking about. I don't necessarily agree with his conclusion. Jamaraka, hi Michael. With digital distribution going butter smooth and all is well, what is keeping games from being released at the same time all over the world, especially DLC? It's a lot of it is localization. I think that a lot of times the publishers want to localize games kind of sequentially. A lot of it is marketing resources. The publishers don't have unlimited marketing resources, and you actually have to have people, to sign deals, to advertise. internet advertising or print advertising, you know, in different countries. And so I think that they kind of roll out at different times occasionally just because they want to make sure that they use their resources efficiently. So I think that's the simple answer. Other than that, there really is there's no reason. So it's a business reason, not a legal reason. And I mean, it really is as simple as that. At Agent X710, Silicon Knights versus Epic. Will we see similar legal battles, and how will this affect the business at large? You know, the Silicon Knights Epic thing was a contract dispute. I mean, it was a Unreal Engine, you know, copyright violation, and one guy didn't pay the other guy, and that anytime you have a contractual arrangement and one party doesn't perform, you're going to get a lawsuit. They actually happen all the time. I don't think that they typically end up in a studio kind of not producing any games for several years. So the Silicon Knights thing is probably pretty unique. But you know, you had Activision suing the Respawn guys and suing EA, and that suit got dropped. You had you know, the Infinity Ward employees suing Activision for bonuses. You've had EA suing Zynga, which just got settled. I mean, lawsuits happen all the time. I'd say there are 4 or 5 of these a year. You had THQ and WWE suing Jack Pacific a few years ago. This stuff just goes on all the time. Fortunately, most of you guys don't have to worry about it. I actually have to worry about it. I have to talk to investors about it. But I see so much litigation, I can't even tell you. And so, yeah, you're going to see similar legal battles. They're going to go on forever. If you think about intellectual property, and the Unreal Engine is intellectual property, what else does Epic have other than their intellectual property? I mean, they're in the business of selling games and licensing Unreal Engine, and if they can't make sure that they get paid, you know, a fair amount for the use of their proprietary technology, they have to sue, and I get it. I mean, they may be wrong occasionally, they may sue the wrong guy. We saw a lawsuit between Bethesda and the former Interplay guys on the Fallout, you know, MMO. I mean, this stuff just goes on all the time. It doesn't get that much press, and I think it's because the gaming press is generally incompetent to discuss legal issues. I'm a lawyer, that's one of my many degrees. I love talking about legal issues, but not to gaming forums, because my favorite of the gaming reporter guys is Alexander Slawinski at Joystick. Alexander is smart enough to know what he doesn't know, and so whenever we talk about legal stuff, he says, all right, got it, can you dumb it down for my readers? And I have to very patiently kind of put things into words that he can print, because this stuff is just not easy. I get a lot of crap on the internet for saying things that aren't entirely accurate, and a lot of the time it's because I'm dumbing it down for the readers. If I talked absolutely specifically, especially on legal issues, I think most of you without law degrees wouldn't understand it. So yes, more legal battles. No, it's not going to change the way the game business is run. So no real impact. Okay, fellow babies, thanks once again for joining us on this week's Pach-Attack. If you have questions, please direct them to the link below, or you can ask questions on Twitter. I am at Michael Pachter. If you'd like a direct message, follow me on Twitter. If you want a question answered on the show, send it to Michael Pachter and copy @Rohan Likes Pants, because Rohan, my producer, picks all the questions for the show.
Cool.
See all of our shows and game reviews now on the brand new GT app on Xbox Live, and the GT Originals iOS app too.
Clicking on the videos to the right of me. Wow.
And you can put like right here.
To the right? To my right? To that right?
There we go.
That right, yeah. Okay. Hey, fellow babies, you can check out more Pach-Attack videos on GameTrailers.com by clicking on the videos to the right of me. This is not a profit deal.